President Obama is, of course, working hard to get ready for whoever ends up as the Republican nominee, and there are questions about whether the president, when it comes to taking campaign donations, has implied one thing and done another. This controversy concerns the most vilified people in Washington, lobbyists. Here's Chief White House correspondent Ed Henry.
As a candidate, he was crystal clear about banning lobbyists from contributing to his 2008 campaign.
Going forward, the Democratic National Committee will uphold the same standard. We will not take a dime from Washington lobbyists or special interest PACs.
But in office, President Obama's pledge is getting murky. The New York Times reports at least 15 of his bundlers, supporters who give their own cash and raise more from friends, are involved in lobbying for special interests and raked in $5 million for his re-election campaign.
This president's record is unprecedented. What's interesting is that you're citing that story and not the story that demonstrated that lobbyists are lining up in record numbers to contribute to Republican campaigns.
Mitt Romney leads the Republican field with at least $148,000 in direct contributions from lobbyists and nearly $1 million bundled by lobbyists. But Romney and other GOP candidates have not pledged to skip lobbyist money.
We're going to change how Washington works. They will not fund my party. They will not run our White House.
Yet take the case of David Cohn, who oversees lobbying for Comcast Corporation and bundled $500,000. The president's aides say that's okay because federal law defines a lobbyist as someone who spends at least 20% of their time lobbying. Cohn heads the office but doesn't register to lobby himself, so he can raise money.
How do you have somebody who's running a lobbying shop and they're raising $500,000? How does that square with a ban?
Again, Ed, the president's standards are unequaled in this regard. The practice has been unprecedented in this regard. The transparency, the disclosure, unequaled.
But several Democratic lobbyists claim this encourages colleagues not to register as lobbyists, with one Democrat telling Fox, "There's less transparency instead of more. I call it shadow lobbying."
It doesn't pass the smell test. And if the president really wants to be the president of reform, the president of ethical values, he needs to stand up and say, whoa.
An Obama campaign aide told me there may need to be further reforms to make sure every lobbyist is actually registering to lobby. But the aide said in the current system, the brightest line to draw is banning money from actual lobbyists, and the president is the only candidate to do so. Jim?
Okay, Ed, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
House Republicans are